Hello, and welcome to All About Billings. We are a show dedicated to discovering the people who make Billings a great place to work and live. We will interview local business people, community leaders, artists, entertainers, and we will learn from them all about their successes, their failures, and their connection to Billings. I'm your host, Nancy Brooke, broker and owner at Billings Best Real Estate, and today it is my pleasure to have from the Alberta Bear Theatre, Julie Blakesley. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you, Nancy, for having me.
Yes, well, today we are going to talk about the Student Matinee series.
Correct.
Right? So, exciting stuff happening in Billings, all
Very
about
exciting.
getting young people involved in the arts and learning about performing arts. So, let's just start with, what is this series? What is it all about?
Absolutely. So since the early 90s, the theater has had an education program, and we invite students of all ages from all schools, public, private, homeschools, daycares, preschools, to attend the theater for a performing arts experience.
And you have a whole series of them, and it sounds like things are dedicated to different age groups.
We do. We recommend certain shows for certain age groups, but all of our education programming is family oriented.
Sure.
And it's all appropriate for all ages, but certain performances are geared for certain age groups.
Right. If you're a kindergartner, you might find something like really fun and fascinating, and if you're in high school, you might say, well, that's not really that exciting to me.
Absolutely. Yes.
I can get
Yes.
it.
And yet we have whole families that attend with the bigs and the littles,
Okay.
and they usually all enjoy everything, but definitely we have shows geared for all ages.
Well, and I have this handy dandy program in front of me, and you know, just looking at some of the activities or some of the matinees coming up, we have Collision of Rhythm, The Little Mermaid, which everybody's heard of, The Little Mermaid, Wind in the Willows, Buzz Brass, The Jungle Book, again,
Yes.
another popular one, Hare and Tortoise. I mean, just a whole lot of different programs. How do you come up with these programs?
Well, we try to make a lot of them curriculum related,
Okay.
so that students in schools can learn something from the performing arts standpoint, but relate it to what they're learning in the classroom in reading, math, science,
Oh,
arts
really?
objectives. Yes.
Huh. So, like, help me understand how that would come into play. Like, let's say something like The Jungle Book. How would it fit in with curriculum? I mean,
Well,
that's
hopefully
pretty
before
interesting.
students attend, their teacher can read to them or with them the story, the Jungle Book, the
Okay.
book, and they'll have an idea of what that is about. And then each performing group also sends to us an education guide that we post on our website, and I also send out to all of the teachers that are bringing students. And those include activities that they can do with their students in the
neat.
classroom before and post performance also. So they can discuss things that they learned at the performance, talk about things that maybe happened that were different than they expected, and then how they can relate the performance to the book.
Well, I guess I didn't realize. I mean, obviously, it's really cool to have performing arts and to have young people exposed to this kind of, you know, theater. I didn't realize that it had this whole curriculum base, which is really neat. So it really helps them learn, because then they're seeing these ideas brought to life.
Absolutely. And we know through research that involvement in the arts helps kids learn. So anything that we can do to bring them experiences in the arts to relate it to their education is going to be beneficial for children.
So with these different groups that come to town, these different actors, performers, where do they come from, and how do you organize all this?
They come from all over the U.S. and often outside the U.S.
Huh.
So we have 2 theater groups this year coming from the UK.
Oh.
We have Cirque Cabalante is from Guinea, Africa. So they're coming,
wow.
yes. So they're, I believe, based in New York now, but originally from Guinea. And
it's kind of like a Cirque du Soleil sort of idea.
Sort of.
Okay.
Definitely cirque
Along
and dance.
that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, for sure. Yes. And we get a lot of performing groups from the New York area, of course, because
Sure, that's where theater.
That's where theater is huge.
Yeah.
But also California region. Buzz Brass is from Canada.
Huh.
So they're coming from all over this year.
So how do you coordinate all these? That's got to be a
Well, our
challenge.
programming director, who I'm sure you've interviewed in the past, Corby Skinner, we work together to decide what sort of things we want to see, and we wait and see what's touring, and send offers out to shows that we think our students here would enjoy seeing and what teachers want. We have a group of arts facilitators from Billings and Laurel public schools that meet twice a year.
Oh.
And they give us feedback on shows they've attended and feedback on what they want to see and what we need more of.
Sure. Well, and it seems like it's pretty reasonable for the students to attend
Definitely.
as well.
Definitely. So we have a partnership with Billings and Laurel Public Schools. So those students attend at a reduced rate.
Right.
And Billings Public Schools, grades 1 through 4 all attend, 6, 7, 8, and juniors in high school will attend this year.
So I can attend even though I'm not a
You
student,
can.
obviously, right? But
Absolutely. Yes. So, and homeschool families often attend, sometimes in large groups, sometimes just as a family, and we encourage that. Small private schools also attend.
Okay.
We have students from Colstrip, Powell, Wyoming, Buffalo. I'm trying to think how far away. Miles City.
Yeah.
So students from schools from all around. Big Timber area, McLeod, Montana.
Wow.
Lots of rural schools
Sure.
also bring students.
So when we talked a little bit before the show, but you have some generous people who contribute towards this and organizations that provide grants to make this happen too.
We do. We do have some grant funding, not as much this year from in the way of federal grants, but we do have generous support from Billings Clinic, Underwriter Motors, Siboney Stillwater, Bear Family Trust, Creative West, Montana Arts Council, and I have to mention our top 2 donors that support this program. And the first is Jane Wallace, who our series is named after this year, the Jane Wallace Student Matinee series.
Right.
And with generous support from the G.E. McDonald Foundation.
Well, and you did mention that with some changes in funding from the federal government that there was a shortfall, and Jane Wallace stepped in to make it up.
Make that up.
I mean,
yes.
That's just, makes my heart sing, you know. It's just
Very
such,
thankful.
It's just such a gracious, wonderful gift to the community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So that's fabulous. And so this has been going on for a long time, since the 90s, you said.
The early 90s.
Wow.
Our executive director, Jan Dietrich, was the education director back then.
Okay.
And she really brought this program to life. And so back then I was a brand new music teacher in Billings Public Schools. And back then the music teachers would come down and work the radios with the busing, the CB radios, to let the students on and off the buses safely and get them into the theater. And that's how we did it back then. That was before we had a volunteer corps at the theater. So
Okay.
that was a long time ago.
Wow. And so you knew it from the teacher standpoint
From
back
the very
then.
beginning. And it was great because I knew what my students were seeing, and I could go with them, I could see the show, and then we could discuss it later in the classroom.
Well, that's neat. And so you
Yes.
were the music teacher, but I'm sure it could be different teachers that are doing it. Could be an
Absolutely.
English teacher, could be I guess any teacher.
Absolutely. And we have many, many teachers involved, and teachers from all different curriculum areas that are on that arts facilitators group. So many of them are English teachers due to the literature connection with many of our shows. And of course, music teachers and art teachers, theater teachers.
Right.
We have teachers that double. We have a teacher who is a librarian and also one of our hip hop teachers for Project Hip Hop in the spring with Billings Public Schools.
Oh my goodness.
So lots of crossover.
That's cool. Well, and so how long have you been involved with ABT though. Not...
I have been employed by ABT. This is my 5th season.
Okay.
So just finished my 4th last spring. This will be my 5th year since retiring from Billings Public Schools.
Well, this has got to be a pretty consuming position though. I mean, because you got to find the talent, you got to coordinate with all the schools. I mean, even though you've done it from the teacher standpoint.
Right.
How do you organize it all?
It's technically a part-time gig, but my organizational skills are fabulous. So I'm really good in Excel and filling all of those little seats in the seating chart with the theater with kids.
Wow.
And hopefully the right numbers of them.
So what do you do to get the word out? You must have to really connect with a lot of the schools. And
we do, and we work with our marketing manager, Morgan Lombardi, who I'm sure you've also interviewed. We do Facebook posts. I send mass emails targeting the schools and, of course, the homeschools, all of it. All of the education areas that we can. We work closely with Billings Public Schools, Laurel Public Schools, all of the outer area schools. They all get an email targeted toward them at the beginning of the year to let them know what our series is and how they can be a part of it and how they can purchase tickets for their students.
And so I just want to make sure we talk about it's starting October 7th. And how do people find out about it? Is there a website that they can go to?
We do have a website.
Okay.
And anytime you're purchasing tickets for the theater, you definitely want to visit the original website, which is albertabeartheater.org.
Okay.
And if you look on the right of that site, click on education, it'll take you anywhere, give you all the information you need to know. You can download this brochure. You can download the student ticket order form, which is also included in the brochure, but there's a PDF fillable of that on our website and was also emailed out. And it gives all the details about attending a show, but of course teachers can just call me and parents can just call me, 406-294-5204, and talk to me personally, and I will get you hooked up. So we don't sell tickets to student matinees online.
Okay.
You do need to purchase them with a form through me, and that's because we do sell out, and you don't choose your seats. You don't get to choose your own seats for student matinees because many of these are large school groups, and because we may have a show that all of Billings Public Schools, middle schools, and Laurel are attending. And they might take up the entire theater and leave little room for others. This year we're spreading that out more, so there is more availability at all of our shows, but the tickets are all purchased through me, and I assign seating based on special needs, age of students.
What a big job.
Yes. So we get them where they can all hopefully see, and we do delete some rows from the theater, the first row, so that kids aren't looking up over that over the stage to see. So we do have very little tiny tots that attend, and they can't see from the first row, so we don't use the first rows, and I do the seating based on those priorities.
What gave you the passion to do this work? Because it seems like you just love it.
I do love it. I was a music student from early on.
What did you do? Or did you play an instrument?
I did. I grew up playing piano and violin here in Billings and singing.
Wow.
And when I was a little girl in dance class, they would come and ask the dance students this is back when it was formerly the Fox Theater.
Sure.
Before the original renovation in 1987. So before that, it was the Fox Theater for the Performing Arts, and they would ask our little dance students if we would come down and be ushers. So we would put on a pretty dress, come down, and help everyone find their seat in the theater. So that was my first experience with the theater here in Billings. So you got a little
bit of taste of it.
Oh, I was hooked. I got to see performances like the Vienna Boy Choir, Donnie and Marie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I got their autographs at that time.
Sure. Well, they're still around.
I was hooked on the theater for sure, and later got to perform in the very same theater, playing my violin and singing and with different groups. And we used to sign the wall in the basement of the theater back then. And then growing up in Billings Public Schools, playing music and being in musical theater just gave me the passion for that. So I then became a music teacher myself.
And just to share that love of
Hopefully
music.
passing it on today.
Well, and it sounds like in our society right now, like things like movies, people aren't as likely to go out and do movies. Are you seeing anything happening like that with performing arts, or are people still excited to go out and see something live?
I think people are more excited
Yeah.
to see live theater, especially after the COVID pandemic.
Oh my gosh,
When,
yes.
of course, everything was shut down nationwide and around the world for performing arts, people were really excited to get back to doing things that seemed normal, and getting back into live music and live theater was huge. And it felt very real and very good to be back in that space once that ended. And when I go to the theater, I see the same excitement from people attending, and we love it when we can fill it up.
Well, and do you think that Billings has always been pretty accepting of performing arts and supportive of it?
I think Billings is highly supportive of the arts, especially in the schools, and we have strong arts programs here, and we want those children to keep playing, keep singing, keep acting. And with our theaters, local theaters here in town, other than Alberta Bear, we just want to foster that and keep relationships with everyone and
so why do
grow
you think
that.
Why do you think it's important for kids to have music and theater and dance in their lives?
Oh, I could say a lot of things about that. It definitely makes our brains work differently. It makes our brains work better. They've shown that through research, that the arts helps kids learn, and it helps make us more functioning humans, and it just makes us more human. And I think it's really important that everyone is involved in the arts in some way. So whatever we can do.
And I suppose, like, sometimes it's easy to think, well, that's not really essential. And I'm not saying you think that, but as a parent, well, maybe they need to focus on whatever, their engineering career. But what you're saying
Right.
is it's really important to stimulate those other parts of our brain, because that helps us grow.
It does. And it seems that the highest college scholarships are not just given to students with one background, that people that have an engineering background or a math background or a science background often have more to give if they also have an arts background. And often the scholarships are higher. And they know that students who are involved in the arts work better as a team and think more creatively, and it just makes them just better people.
Right. So with these performances, do students kind of get like the bug to do music and acting? And I mean, do you see that?
Definitely I do.
I was kind of curious about that, because I would imagine if you're young and you've never really seen that before and you go, wow, that's pretty neat.
Right, definitely. And it's fun to see that, and it's fun when a group of artists coming in has some outreach or an interaction with students after the show. Little example, when we had Hadestown last year, that was one of our Broadway shows. I took a group of actors and musicians, stage manager to senior high, and they got to visit with the music and the theater kids about what it's like to be in the theater. And that was not part of our student matinee series, obviously, because it was Broadway and they didn't have time to do a student matinee, but it's really exciting when they can light a fire under the kids and just inspire them to go on.
And I would imagine a lot of people just don't have that kind of exposure to like the bigger productions. If you live in Billings, or if you live in a small town around Billings.
And so we do have a lot of support also with a student ticket underwriting program. So, many schools pay to send the kids to the shows, but some schools cannot afford to do that. Outlying area schools, Title I schools. Billings Clinic has a great relationship with McKinley School, and they contribute toward McKinley students all attending a show every year. So it's great to have those partnerships that those students can attend and be a part of something that they aren't normally going to be able to do with their families.
So how have you seen things evolve through the years, from the 90s to today, in terms of the performances and what's showing up here? Because I'm sure styles change, tastes change.
For sure. That's a tough one, because I've seen so many different kinds of performances. and I've gotten to know so many people through my music career. I have to talk about Collision of Rhythm, our first show of the season, on October 7th. So one of the performers, Aaron Williams, is from the LA area, and he and I actually taught together at a conference in San Diego years ago. And so I got to meet him. He is a virtuoso tap dancer. He also salsa dances. They play percussion. They play flute, saxophone. That show is going to be high energy and amazing. And it's through connections like that that I know some of these people that have shows now that are coming through the Billings area and that we can contract for us. So that one is October 7th, 9:30 and 12:30, and it's our first show of the season. Rhythmic juggling. It's kind of like a Cirque du Soleil show mixed with perhaps Stomp, if you've seen that. It's going to be unreal. And they also are doing an evening show for the public.
Oh, neat.
So, which leads me to talk about our 10 for 10 performances.
Yes,
on the back of our
let's talk
brochure.
about that. 10 for
10.
10. Yeah, that's amazing.
10 for 10 is also an education program, but it gets people from the education world to the theater, not just students, but their parents, their friends, their teachers.
Right.
So 10 for 10 is basically any purchase of 10 or more tickets made by an educator. Those tickets are only $10 a piece, which for many of these evening shows, tickets start at $38 and above. So it's a great deal. There are no fees involved. So $10 flat.
Wow.
So we like to bring students into the theater. We like to see their parents, their friends, guests. They can bring students to any of these performances. There are 10 this year, which is kind of nice with our 10 for 10 theme, that we actually have 10 performances. Not all of these are student matinees.
Right.
So you see Take 3, where rock meets Bach, the music of Don Williams featuring Trevor Penzak, Mark O'Connor, American Patchwork Quartet, the McDades, the Red Hot Chili Pipers.
I looked at that twice and I kept on saying, are the Red Hot Chili Peppers really performing?
Not the Peppers.
The Pipers. So they're bagpipers?
They are bagpipers and more.
That's cute.
Electric guitar, keys, the whole bit. It's going to be amazing. Montreal Guitar Trio. And then some of the groups that are performing student matinees, Collision of Rhythm, Cirque Cabalante, they are also doing, and Buzz Brass, they are also doing student matinees in addition to an evening performance. So those evening shows, if the purchase is made by an educator, they can purchase 10 or more tickets in one transaction. Tickets are only $10.
But if I want to buy one for myself and I'm not an educator or a student, I can just go to the Alberta Bear website?
You can go to the website, you can go to the box office and purchase your own little ticket.
So those are just normal purchases?
Evening performances, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm looking at all these. I mean, the Montreal Guitar Trio, that sounds interesting.
Yes.
And then we talked about Cirque Cabalante. Those are the performers from Africa.
Guinea, yes.
So that sounds like fun. It sounds like there's something for everyone if you like music or dance or...
For sure. The McDades is a Celtic, Irish group that's here just before St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
so that'll be our little tribute to the Irish there.
And an Appalachian Christmas. That's fun.
Yes. Mark and Maggie O'Connor were here 2 years ago with their Appalachian Christmas, and it changes every time they tour it. But beautiful musicians, beautiful music.
Well, and I think, the fun thing is, like, you don't have to make a huge commitment, just maybe plan to go to one performance. I mean, it just lightens you up. And,
absolutely.
Just as an individual community member.
Absolutely.
I mean, you don't have to, oh my gosh, I got to see all these. Just
right.
Look at these and say, these Red Hot Chili Pipers, that's kind of funny.
Right.
I wonder what they're all about.
Absolutely.
And just make a date to go for one.
Absolutely. I have a teacher from Pryor, Montana, Plenty High School, that brings a group almost every year of high school students on a bus or in the school van to see an evening performance. And they have a ball. They eat dinner downtown, and then they go to the show together, and he drives the bus, and he takes them home safely, and what a great thing to do. So those are amazing. Also, retirement centers and things like that can attend these shows at at this reduced rate, they're eligible, and they often bring groups of people.
And so if somebody hasn't been to a theater performance before, maybe they're feeling like, oh, I got to dress up, and what is that like? I mean, you don't have to come in like with a tuxedo, right?
No, definitely not. You see everything when you go to the theater, and even at Billings Symphony performances, you see all sorts of dress anymore. When I go to the theater, I just like to dress up a little bit. So, and that's me. And some teachers ask their students to dress up a little bit, but we don't ask them to dress up. It's a school day when they're attending, and they're typically in their school clothes. But some of them do like to dress up.
Well, and I was so surprised when we went to Broadway. We saw Tom Hanks on Broadway. He was in a movie called Lucky Guy, or a performance called Lucky Guy.
Oh.
And I was really surprised. Like, people were super casual.
Okay.
In the theater, and I was like, and this was on Broadway. And I was like, I mean, I don't think I was super fancy, but I was a little dressed up.
Right.
But I was surprised because it's like, well, just come as you are. And
we're not the Metropolitan Opera.
Yeah, but
you can come as you are.
Well, and I think that's the thing, like making it feel more approachable to people, because if you haven't been, maybe you just don't know what to expect.
Right.
And I bet there's a whole lot of people in Billings who maybe just haven't considered seeing a live performance.
For sure, for sure. And a lot of, there's a lot of young children that like to dress up for performances, especially if they're coming to the ballet. You'll often see them dressed as, the lead prima ballerina princess of the show. And sometimes they know that there may be an opportunity to get their picture taken after the show with a certain performer, and they might want to be dressed to the nines. So you do see a lot of that, and you do see a lot of blue jeans. So it's Montana.
It's Montana, right? And maybe they have a bow tie with their blue jeans, right?
Yes. We ask that you remove your cowboy hat so the person behind you can see.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, once again, let's tell people how they can find all this information. And you have your website.
albertabeartheater.org.
Okay.
Click on education. It's over on the right. That will take you to the Student Matinee series, where you can download the brochure and read all about the student matinees in particular. You can also just click on our calendar, and all of the student matinees are listed there as well in chronological order through the calendar. And there's a description of each show on our website. There's a Learn More link on each of the calendar shows that will take you to a particular page on a particular show you're interested in, and you can read all about it and decide what you might want to come and see.
Right. And even if you're not a student and something interests you, you can connect with Julie and she can hook you up.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to hook you up with tickets.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, this has been so much fun. You have inspired me to check these all out and book a couple of these this coming year, because life's too short to not have some fun and enjoyment.
Absolutely.
Right?
We can't wait to see you at the theater, Nancy.
Oh, thank you so much, Julie. And everybody, thank you so much for joining us today on All About Billings, and we hope to see you next time.